The city of Anderson, Indiana, and its surrounding region are known for their commitment to community development and innovation. As the metropolitan planning organization for the area, the Madison County Council of Government plays a pivotal role in shaping the future of transportation and safety in the region. Recently, the council secured a significant grant through the Safe Streets and Roads for All program, which will drive a transformative project aimed at enhancing road safety and equity across the county. This initiative focuses on streamlining safety analysis updates and the practical application of traffic data, which is crucial for informed decision-making. By leveraging the funding from the Safe Streets for All program, the county is taking bold steps to create a safer, more equitable transportation network that serves the needs of all its residents. Stay tuned to hear from a key stakeholder involved with this project to learn more about their grant application process.
I'm Ryan Phelps. I work for the Madison County Council of Governments, which is the metropolitan planning organization for the Anderson, Indiana region. I'm the manager of the transportation planning, analysis, and forecasting team within the organization. Generally, our agency is just kind of a small MPO. We serve an area that's just a little bit bigger than one county. We're about 35 minutes northeast of Indianapolis. So we're kind of on the fringes, but we are our own separate MPO. We provide transportation planning, community planning, geospatial data analysis, and kind of design expertise for the region. We conducted our own safety action plan before the Safe Streets and Roads for All program was launched. So we actually ended up applying for supplemental planning and demonstration activities in the FY23 call. And really our project focuses on kind of streamlining safety analysis, updates, and the application of safety analysis. And then we're also testing a mini roundabout installation for working in kind of improving constrained intersection safety. So we have our application's kind of broken out into 4 different supplemental activities where we're doing analysis automation, we're conducting road safety audits, we are updating our project selection process for how we distribute our funds, and then we're working on kind of launching, updating, expanding our crash data hub, and then developing some visualization tools that'll make it easier for both the public to access the data and for our partners, our partner organizations to access the data. And then of course we have our demonstration activity, which is a mini roundabout pilot in one of our small communities. We ended up kind of adding a good amount to our first draft of our application once we started comparing it against the SS4A goals. One of the goals focuses on kind of incorporating equity into the safety process, making sure that we're also impacting and moving the needle in an equity and resilience standpoint. So we kind of felt that was a big gap in our initial draft. And so we went back and added in a component, which was updating our project selection process. We had already talked a little bit about adding in a safety component to our project selection process, but we decided to use that same update to start incorporating some equity measures. So we kind of felt like that was, a gap that was missing when we compared it back against the original goals, and tried to make sure that we added that into something that kind of naturally fit with the rest of the application. And then while we kind of only have a small pool of funds available for construction projects, we really want to improve kind of how we select what projects we fund. So we felt like encouraging equity considerations through the project funding stream kind of seemed like the best way to have a direct impact on both equity and for safety. So we added that supplemental action, or we kind of enhanced that supplemental action item. That was pretty tricky because the planning and demonstration grant is only 2 pages, or at least it was when we applied. So with 2 pages, there's not a lot of space for you to say everything that you want to. So we had to go through multiple rounds within the agency of editing, cutting down text, really trying to streamline and focus. Every single word that we were saying, every sentence had to have some basic contribution back to the idea, the activity that we were trying to to move forward. For our narrative, we started out by presenting kind of high-level crash statistics. Since the focus of the grant is on safety, we wanted to make sure that we hit that first and foremost. And then secondary to the crash statistics was highlighting our region's underserved populations, which those are two measures that were identified as important considerations for the grant selection process, and we wanted to make sure that we just hit those right up front and made sure that we were making the case for why we were a good region to select, very early on, and then transitioned into, this is how we anticipate that we're going to be able to move the needle, how we're going to be able to have an impact on safety. So, of course, it kind of helps in our region that we have a higher than national average fatality rate, that we have a high percentage of the population that's underserved or historically disadvantaged communities. And so because we felt like we kind of had to stand out in those statistical areas, we wanted to make sure we highlighted that first. It links directly back to what the purpose of the grant really is. And then, like I said, then the remainder of the narrative discussed kind of our previous planning process that we went through very, very briefly, and then tied all of our activities into how are we going to update that plan in order to improve overall safety. We tried to kind of balance our application to include both new ideas and then kind of existing priorities that work really well together. So for example, we noted in our planning process, there was a really, really heavy lift for data analysis in order to create our first safety action plan. And then we kind of highlighted what the importance of the tools are for supporting ongoing application of analysis. So we paired kind of the potential for streamlining the analysis process. And we're streamlining that by developing some programming scripts and automating each of the steps, so that'll decrease our burden every single time that we need to go through the analysis process again. And we're pairing that with developing tools that can immediately use the data outputs for increasing kind of public awareness and transparency. And the USDOT kind of has a big focus too on making sure that we are involving the public, that everybody's aware of what is going on, that we're improving transparency, especially from a governmental side. So we felt like we were, hitting that USDOT goal while taking what we believe is an innovative approach to safety analysis and updates. And then kind of similarly, we know that the USDOT wants to continue expanding the list of proven safety countermeasures, but there's a lot of extensive research that needs to be done in order to support those additions. We know that roundabouts are right now a proven safety countermeasure, but many roundabouts aren't listed yet. There's not been enough research yet. So we kind of identified that as an opportunity to include a pilot project that has a lot of applications within our area, but that also helps support national research efforts and the potential for kind of building out more innovative solutions in the future. A lot of our application is kind of specific to our existing situation. Elements like the mini roundabout and then the automation process, those can kind of be implemented across other jurisdictions as well. So, we tried to highlight how development of those elements could inform both kind of our local and regional partners, and then also support peers across the country that kind of face similar issues. And then, every jurisdiction kind of has a limited amount of time. And so the analysis automation felt like kind of has a broad appeal. It's, really in line with a lot of the national discussions around like big data and data products and data development right now. So we think that it kind of has generally a pretty broad appeal. But it's also really, really vital for supporting kind of the application of the outputs of the analysis. We've been working on this for quite a long time at this point, and never once have I had somebody come to me asking for crash data and then say, well, what year are you using again? Because I really want to use, current data. Well, my data is 3 years old because that's the most reliable that I can use. So So, there's kind of automatically built in this lag time for using data, and anything that we can do to cut that amount of time down, I think has broad appeal, especially to the engineers and politicians who are using the outputs.